Okay, awesome. I see that some of you are on. Welcome. Good night. We're going to talk about some latest news. Let me say this. This message or this information is for those people out there. 20 million undocumented individuals in the United States tonight, and they are hungry for information. And I've been working super hard to pump out information to you guys because I know you're hungry. And there's a lot to talk about, and I don't cover everything because it's just so much. But for the 20 million plus undocumented people tonight in America and their families who are impacted by their status, this is for you. I understand that many of you are out there, you're very frustrated because I haven't touched certain topics around H-1B or around the family ban because there is nothing to talk about yet with respect to the family immigration ban. Please be patient with me as I'm getting the information out to you. And I understand that this doesn't apply to some of you. And if that's the case, then fine. Simply share it with others who are here in the United States who care deeply about these issues. Don't leave me nasty comments on Facebook and on McBean Immigration TV and on Instagram because I hadn't touched your topic yet. Please be patient with me. With that being said, I'm going to talk about a topic that quite a bit of you have asked me to talk about, and it's about reconciliation and the essential workers, because that is actually the hottest thing going on right now tonight, actually, with immigration reform here in the United States. There is a real possibility that as early as next week, we can see some action around immigration reform. I'm going to share with you the information that I've researched and gathered so far, but it looks like they're going to push. There's a big push by the immigrant advocacy community to include certain immigration reform in the COVID stimulus package that President Biden introduced. The 1.9 trillion, I think it is. Yeah, stimulus package. There's a huge push right now to include certain things in that around immigration, including a pathway to citizenship for 5 million undocumented essential workers. Okay, so some of you may have been reading a little bit in the news about this. So we're going to dive into that issue, as well as things around possibility that they would include something around DACA for dreamers and those with temporary protected status. So that's the biggest opportunity right now that we have to see some immigration reform as early as next week. Now, let's get into it. Yesterday, which was Tuesday, January 26th, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, he had a call with the Democratic Senate caucus. And during that call, he mentioned to them that as early as next week, they could do a budget resolution on the Senate floor. Now, that's actually a very big deal because President Biden introduced the 1.9 trillion COVID package, and he immediately got a lot of pushback from a lot of Republicans, obviously. And he was looking to do something on a bipartisan level. But, guys, in the Senate, now controlled by Democrats, they can go through a process known as budget reconciliation that could effectively bypass the gridlock. And by a vote of 51 on the Senate side, they could actually pass something significant as early as next week. That's the power now that Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer has. Because if he gets all 50 Democrats in his caucus on board around the budget resolution, Kamala Harris could be that 51st vote, and that's very significant. So let me share my screen with you for a moment here and take you into this tweet here from ABC News. They tweeted earlier today, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer on COVID-19 relief legislation. Time is of the essence to address this crisis. We're keeping all options on the table, including budget reconciliation. Okay, so take a listen.
Time is of the essence to address this crisis. We're keeping all options open on the table, including using budget reconciliation. The first step to pursuing COVID relief legislation through reconciliation would be to pass a budget resolution. And so, in keeping our options open on our caucus call today, I informed senators to be prepared that a vote on a budget resolution could come as early as next week.
Okay, so you heard it directly from him, right? You heard it directly from Chuck Schumer that as early as next week, they could do a vote on budget resolution. Okay. So with that being said, this is now the opportunity that they have to put in some additional items into that budget resolution, including things around immigration. Now, the immigrant community, as I mentioned earlier, the immigrant advocacy community sent a letter recently to Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi with a big ask in that letter. And that letter has a lot of oomph behind it because 513 organizations signed on to it, including my association, the American Immigration Lawyers Association. They signed on to this letter and they're asking that something be done around DACA, around TPS, and around a pathway to citizenship for 5 million undocumented essential workers. And they'd like to see those action items handled in the budget reconciliation process. And so let me grab the letter and pull it up here so that you guys can see a little bit of it. Okay, so here we go. Here's the letter. So this letter dated January 22nd, again to Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and they say in this letter, for efforts to be successful and for the recovery to be as bold, dynamic, inclusive, and equitable as possible, we, the undersigned 513 organizations, call on the Senate and House of Representatives to include in such legislation permanent protection and a path to citizenship for undocumented immigrants who have long contributed to this country in a myriad of ways, including particularly dreamers, TPS, temporary protected status holders, and those essential workers who have been on the front lines during this pandemic and their families. An estimated 5 million undocumented individuals, nearly 3 in 4 of all undocumented immigrants in the workforce, are working every day alongside other Americans in essential roles. And here's where it gets a little emotional because we could literally visualize these essential workers and we know who they are. They're our family, they're our neighbors, right? The letter says they are providing health care as doctors, nurses, and home health aides and keeping home healthcare settings safe and open as custodians. They're food servers, they're administrative workers. They're working to protect our food security from farms and food processing facilities, all the way to grocery stores and restaurants. They are first responders and they are teachers and they are the backbone of the nation's care workforce, which is itself the foundation upon which nearly everything else is built. Okay, so they're asking for a very significant move or action next week through the budget reconciliation process. They also reminded Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi in this letter that several months ago when the HEROES Act was passed, the HEROES Act did include some sort of temporary protection from removal and work authorization as well for essential workers. And that never did pass. That never made its way through into the stimulus package. It never passed. So they're reminding them that these are the individuals who are the backbone of America and at a minimum, provide a pathway to citizenship for these individuals. If you are an essential worker out there, and I know you're out there because you've been commenting and writing me and you want this information, you want to see something done with your status, you know what I'm talking about here. You're the backbone of this country. So that's the push right now by the advocacy community to include an immigration reform component in next week's budget reconciliation. Now, again, Chuck Schumer, he put it on the table that it could come as early as next week. Okay, he didn't go as far as saying it is coming next week. He said, well, it could happen as early as. So let's just keep our fingers crossed and let's just see if he will, in fact, bring it next week and whether it will include the essential workers plus DACA protection, TPS holders, something around TPS. Let's see if it will include all of that. Okay. Let's see, what else do I want to share with you guys? Oh, so here's how the whole budget reconciliation is going to work. It's, like I said earlier, it only requires 51 votes. That's it. And the senators will have about 20 hours to debate. And that's it. 20 hours to debate. So it's not a filibuster. It doesn't require the 60 votes to pass. No, doesn't require that. They could do it with 51 votes. And right now they have 50 Democrats, and then they have one tiebreaker, which is Vice President Kamala Harris. So also one other thing to add is that President Biden's COVID relief bill, as you guys may have been reading in the news, would provide $1,400 in direct payments to individuals, and it increases the federal minimum wage to $15. There's a lot to it. I'm gonna try my best to see if I could break some of it down for you guys over the next few days as well. But just stay plugged in. I hope you found this information helpful. If it's not for you, share it with someone else. Comment below, let me know your thoughts. And guys, I will also see you on Monday night at 9 p.m. on Instagram, where I also do a live session and answer some questions that you've sent me during the week. So go ahead and put your comments below because I do review them. And also I do ask that comments be kept respectful and don't attack each other in the comments. Just be decent. Don't attack immigrants. You know, life is too short for all of that, guys. This is an exciting time, and I'm glad that we could talk about these issues finally. So let's see what happens over the next few days with this whole budget reconciliation process and whether some immigration reform will make its way in there. Guys, I hope you found this helpful, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for being with me tonight. Love you guys. Bye-bye.